Hey, what up, what up? So, I have made some tremendous progress in my life and I wanted to share it because that's what I'm doing now, is sharing my journey, not just my destination. And so, a couple of things. So one of them is like the process of getting to a place where I'm ready to figure myself out. Um, so what I said before in a video was that I kind of it's like I felt like I was being given all the motivation that I needed from the universe to start focusing, channeling my energy into another direction. And so I always like to play with a big, huge crystal while I'm sitting. Not always, but it's nice to have something for my hands to fidget with while I'm making a video. So it's just that, like, you know how, like, you can think that you gotta like do something in a certain way, and it's like I think it's good to be aware that you need to make some progress in your life, that you need to make a change, but also, you know, it can be challenging. And all I'm saying is I went through a process that was not exactly logical, but I just went with it rather than being frustrated about it. I took time to allow myself to relax, I suppose, and not put an undue amount of stress on the task, because it's already like a big thing. It doesn't need to have an intensity that you create. And so but also, like, you know, staying relatively focused but also relatively relaxed, so that middle ground kind of thing. And I went through a process where I just slowly, incrementally made little steps, baby steps. Like Lao Tzu says, the great task was accomplished by a series of small deeds, or something like that. And so I allowed myself to go through my own process. Some of it is, you know, things that, you know, that I'm shy or not trying to do so much, you know, like anything that's to do with distraction, put it like that. But instead of being hard on myself, it's like, no, just make little baby steps and move towards this this idea. And, you know, kitty, here's Mister the kitty. And so I made it what it came to be, where it's like, you know, where I said that I felt like I was getting all the motivation that I needed from the universe to do the things that I needed to do. You know, it can be a bit of a challenge to put that into words, like how it really makes you feel. But one of the things that kept on coming up is flow, is where it's just like, wow, everything that is happening for me, for my benefit. It is getting my juices going. It is, I'm feeling, even though, yeah, like it's just like everything, it's adding up. There's a cumulative effect, and it's just like, and I think it's because I'm not being hard on myself. I'm not beating myself up about where I'm at. I'm just doing stuff slowly, taking baby steps, but every single day, and, you know, making the right choices, I think, is what it comes down to. And so then there's this thing, you know, about you know, is it motivation? Is it determination? Is it persistence? Is it choices? Is it discipline? It's all of those things. And also being easy on yourself, letting up, you know, don't like come down on yourself and judge yourself or compare yourself to other people and what they're doing and think that you should be doing that just because that's where they're at. It's like, no, you're on your own journey, and everything happens in perfect timing, and there's nothing else to it. I mean, just trust that it will all add up one day. And I tell you, all the little bits of me that have been cultivated over the years have added up. And now all of a sudden I am the man that I wanted to be, because I didn't compare myself to other people or think that I should have a house, or I should have children, or I should have a wife just because that's what some of my friends have, or, I should do this. It's like, I've lived a bit of a different life where, and that's okay. And it's really worked out for me. So I will make a video on the flow some other time. It's on my list. So another thing too is about, a sort of a subject that dovetails into this is, there is a Japanese concept that somebody made me aware of called ikigai, A-I-K-I-G-A-I. And it is essentially the same thing. It's about having a purpose in life which leads to happiness. Something that it's like, I'm naturally gifted at this, and I'm interested in this, and these are my values, and this is, what, all of these things. You can Google it, and there's books about it, and on and on and on, but very similar thing. I've only barely looked into it and accumulated some research off the internet about it. So that's that. Ikigai. So another thing too is that in my last video I said something which I in a sense regret, and it was to do with potatoes. I call it my potato negativity, where it's like, I said that, I don't eat potatoes because potatoes are bland. And I thought about that. I was just like, is that true? It's like, no, they have a more delicate flavor. And like, what a horrible thing to say, that potatoes are bland just because it's different than, say, something like a sweet potato. It doesn't mean that its flavor isn't valid, and like, I just thought that it was really good to reflect on that and realize that I'm still processing an amount of negativity. I mean, it's a very negative thing to say, and I don't want to be about that. I don't want to be like that. And so because I thought about it, it's just like, so what, you're just not going to eat potatoes anymore? It's like, and I thought about it, it's like, no, they are nice. It's all how you prepare them. And it's like, if it has a more mild flavor, then that's just the flavor that you're working with. So I really apologize for what I said about potatoes. It was horrible, and I'm really sorry about that. So that was an important thing for me to say. And so something super amazing though is that I made my big huge list of all of the things that I have been interested in over my life, and it's things that I've been inspired to do. But with the question always underlying it is, what is my gift? What is my gift to give? It's just like, okay, I want to channel my energy into something, but what? And it's like, the kombucha thing fizzled. Pun intended. The DJ producer thing, that's always the dream, but it's just that takes time to learn software. To be a chef, I do want to open up a vegan restaurant, but it's beyond my means at the moment. I mean, I could make it happen, but it's like, is that a good starting place? Not necessarily. I mean, there's a business that I want to start selling very well made products, like only things that have been inspired and therefore were engineered to specs so that they'll last a lifetime. But it requires, it's just like, is that what I want to do? There's a number of inventions that I've come up with, some infographics. I mean, there's my book, there's things to do with art and sacred geometry. I was left the legacy of a man who was a math mystic. And so I have all of this sacred geometry stuff at my disposal, but it's like I'm so busy with my own stuff. I've found it to be a challenge to deal with somebody else's legacy, but that is something that is to come. There is a number of machines that a person can buy. You could buy a printer where you can print art. You can print, because I have a ton of original art. You could print t-shirts and stuff like that. The t-shirt company is always something that it's just like, kind of, And then a laser burner is another super awesome thing, because it's just a machine. You get the and you just put things in it. It just, so like you can turn out a lot of products very quickly with minimal effort once you have the thing set up and whatnot. There's woodworking. I mean, like, I've always loved woodworking, building things. I want to make spirit flutes and bowls and cat scratch posts and coffee tables and stuff like that. But it's like, what am I doing here? Who am I catering to? And do they really need these things? With all of this stuff, it's just like, okay, so I'm going to make some art. Who needs art? Art's great, but it's like, is that what's important? Being a silversmith, I love jewelry, but same thing. It's just like, is that what my gift is to give? As a yoga teacher, even though I love it, I have yoga books just everywhere. I'm sitting on, like, yoga is huge for me. But is it my gift, to show people how to stretch? Not exactly. And I gotta be honest with myself about that. Because it's like, you get a ball rolling, don't even start if you're gonna, it's still important to me, but it's not the primary focus. And that's what I've had to realize. And even to do with meditation as well. I mean, I am trained in meditation, but it's not quite it. Sound baths, because when I sold my house, I purchased a music studio, and I still have everything. I have so many instruments and stuff. So, ecstatic dance. I am a dancer, and I would love to host ecstatic dance things, as well as singing circles and things like that. I participated in one. It just warms my heart thinking about it right now. Selling this and that, a cookbook, poetry. I've written volumes of poetry. I mean, and I could embrace that. People do it and they sell their poems to companies, and it goes on cards or here or there, or you could just print it off. You buy a printer and you make things. I mean, I've done that before. YouTube. I mean, that's a thing, you could hit this hard, really do it. Make shorts, do this, make just like, 10 videos a day, hire people to help you with it, and on and on and on. Is that for me? Well, I think what I have to share is kind of niche. So it's like, I haven't found my audience yet, or they haven't found me, or some people, right? But so there's all that kind of stuff. And then there's like a spiritual store. There's stuff to do with photography and my drone, and to do with veganism. I watched Game Changers again the other night, and just like, I cried for a long time watching that movie, just because of how big of a cause it is to me. I love animals, and it just breaks my heart to see animals being taken advantage of and suffering in any way. So there's all these ideas, but then there's my book, which I've been working on for 10 years. I'm pushing like 300,000 words, or it's up there. I'm going to publish the first half, and that's a thing, but it's an organic process. You can't just speed it up. And then there's this other thing, spiritual advice. And when I sat down and looked at this entire list, there's only one single thing that stands out as something that I have, that has been cultivated within me, that I've cultivated within myself, that I have the ability to move forward on right now. You know, and I actually have the website. I bought joshsnook.com years ago. And the last 4 digits of my phone number is my name as well, Josh. You know, I woke up this morning and realized this. I mean, this happened last night and then this morning, and it was just like, whoa. You know, out of that whole list, one thing. So, we'll see where this goes. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.